Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. We are seeing the Anatma portion of the questions that the student had asked. Of the questions that the student asked, the Anatma portion of it, the teacher Shankaracharya ji described the Sthula Sharira. The Sthula Sharira is Anatma Vastu. Another Anatma Vastu is the Sthula Sharira is exposed to the world of objects. And now over here Vishaya are taken, sense objects, and the sense objects over here, a trap, a man is bound, is what Gurudev has labeled this section number 18 from shloka 76 to 82. So we saw the 5 different species were presented, each one of them trapped with either Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, and then he puts a rhetorical question, then what to talk about a human being who is trapped with all of them. Doshena Tivro Vishaya Krishna Sarpa Vishadapi. So we saw number 77 that Vishaya are just like the poisonous cobra in this way. Visham Nihanti Bhoktaram Drishtaram Chakshu Cha Api Ayam. So Vishaya, just by taking a look at it, the sense objects loots away all our inner poise, but over here this poison only kills the person who the cobra has bit. So we continue with the shloka number 79. Apata vairagyavato mumukshun bhavabdiparam pratiyatumudhyatan ashagraho majjayatentarale nigruhya kanthe vinivartya vegat. Over here it is said that bhavabdi param pratiyatum udyatan. So bhavabdi param, to cross the ocean of samsara, pratiyatum udyatam, the desire to cross the ocean of samsara for the mumukshu, udyatan, there is effort, there is striving. And if in this effort to cross the ocean of samsara, if apat vairagyavataha, if the person has not tivra vairagya, but apat vairagya, it is not tivra, it is just a very loose vairagya, neither total nor everlasting. And such vairagya over here, born out of, if the vairagya is born out of suffering, and if it is not cultivated properly, it is called apata vairagya. It is very weak. It is not possessing any apparent detachment. The detachment which should be there, the detachment is not proper. So if that is the case, then Shankaracharya ji over here says that asha graho vegat nirvartya kanthe nigruhya antarale majjayate. It is, if that apat vairagya is there and somebody is trying to cross this ocean of samsara, Shankaracharya ji saying asha graha, this crocodile of desire, vegavatat, with great power, vinivartya, takes the person away, nigruhya kanthe, having grabbing the throat, and antarale, in the middle of this ocean, majjayate, the person drowns. You know, this is a beautiful example in, if you see some nature videos and the crocodiles of the river Nile, there comes a time when hundreds and thousands of these wildebeests, they have to cross the river Nile and go onto the other side for grazing. The pastures over there are not yet grazed, and on this side of the Nile they have. And they are all scared about these not ordinary huge Nile crocodiles. And this is once a year, their feast is there with all these animals, and the one jumps in and everybody follows, and they are trying to cross, and each crocodile, they will just take one, grab that wildebeest, take into the middle of the Nile river, and that poor wildebeest, what can it do? It's a giant animal. But over here, asha graha, the crocodile of desire, if we have not cultivated proper desire, vairagya for desires, these desires themselves will become like crocodile, and kanthe nigruhya, having grabbed our throat, we can't even breathe. They do the exact same thing. Kanthe nigruhya vegavatat, with this great power, antarale, takes in the middle of the river. What is that poor animal going to do? And majjayate, they find themselves completely drowning in it. So, you know, Bhagavan Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. You know, with this weapon of detachment, dispassion, that is what is talked about over here. If the weapon of detachment, if that weapon of Vairagya is not sharpened enough, then the person just drowns in this massive samsara of sense objects. The whole ocean of transmigration is riddled with sense objects, and thus it is so important that one develops this Vairagya. It has to be a very powerful Vairagya, Tivra Vairagya. It cannot be apat Vairagya. Once in a while, when things are not going conducive, we pick up Bhagavad Gita, start reading, and then we put it away for a few months. It is not even visited. When we feel depressed and all that, we watch some video to uplift ourselves, but then again the host of sense objects arrive and loots away our vitality. And in this way, if a person is just going back and forth and has not developed that Vairagya, then what can be done? What can be done over here? That's why Shankaracharya ji impresses that may one develop Vairagya. May one develop Tivra Vairagya, very strong Vairagya. Continuing, Vishayakyagraho yena suviratyatsina hataha sagacchati bhavam bodhehe param pratyuha varjitaha. So, yena, by whom, Vishayakya grahaha, the shark known as the sense objects, then suvirakti asina hataha. Suvirakti, virakti is dispassion, Vairagya. Suvirakti, very well cultivated dispassion. Asina, the sword, again the same thing. Asanga shastrena dridena chitva. Bhagavan Krishna uses that. The same is used by Shankaracharya ji with the sword of dispassion. Hataha, may one come to destroy this crocodile in the river of sense objects or the ocean of sense objects. May one come to kill this. Saha pratyuha varjitaha. Saha, such a person, pratyuha varjitaha, pratibandha rahitaha, without any obstacles. Easily, such a person without any obstacles. Bhava ambodhaha param gacchati. Saha person will cross the river of samsara very easily. They will be able to cross the ocean of samsara very easily. So Vishayagraha, every time when we take a look at sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, even when we look around our home, you know, the home should only have few things that are required, necessary. But if we keep on collecting, keep on holding our awareness, our attention, just leaks away in the maintenance of the sense objects. A very simple home, that's why it is said that one should go to ashram, and in the ashram nothing is provided, just a simple bed. Even the table and chair is not available. Just sit down on the floor and study, and as simple as that, nothing available. Just the presence of the teacher. See, absence of sense objects around us creates a very fertile field for Vairagya. Otherwise, Vairagya will not be cultivated. If we live in the comfort of all types of comforts around us, we won't be able to grow. We won't be able to grow in Vairagya. So, if there is a desire for a person to tread the path of spirituality, it is so important that we simplify our life. Just few things which are necessary a person has. Anything more than that requires great amount of maintenance. I even see people in their homes, the puja room also, so many deities, and whoever gifts they keep on adding in the temple, and then it's just the maintenance of it. Aradhya Devata should be just one, bas. Whoever is our Aradhya Devata, sit in front of Bhagavan and dissolve all different types of raga and dvesha, all different types of the inner enemies itself, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, etc. All of these things are to be dissolved in our daily upasana with Bhagavan. Our upasana should be very conducive for our growth. So in this way, sense objects have to be destroyed over here. Vishaya, the sense objects which are like sharks over here, the shark of the sense object, or the crocodile of the sense object, suvirakti asina, a very well developed Vairagya, and the sword of that Vairagya, hataha, may one come to destroy, so that one can grow in sadhana. Vishama Vishaya Margair Gacchato Nacha Buddhehe Pratipadam Adhibghato Mrutyurapyesha Siddhaha Hita Sujana Guruktya Gacchata Svasya Yuktya Prabhavati Phala Siddhi Satyamityeva Viddhi. So Pratipadama Abhighato is one way of looking at it, and over here in Gurudev's book it is Pratipadama Bhiyato. So instead of Ghato, Yato, they both are the same. So just Pathantara Bhed is just different, that's all. So Vishaya Vishama, the poisonous, the dangerous objects which sense pleasures which are on our path, margaha, the very path, gacchataha anacha buddhehe, gacchataha, the one who goes on this path of spirituality, and anacha buddhehe meaning weak intellect or ashuddha buddhi. Ashuddha buddhi is anacha buddhehe, the buddhi is not properly developed, meaning weak Vairagya is anacha buddhehe. If the Vairagya is not strong, the buddhi cannot instruct the mind. It is the strength of the buddhi which instructs the mind, which turns its gaze away from the sense objects. So over here, Shankaracharya ji is referring to anaccha buddhehe, and such a person that what happens? Pratipadam abhiyataha. Pratipadam abhiyataha, every step that person overtakes, then mrutyuhu api vidhi. Consider that there is death lurking in every single step we take if the buddhi is not developed. See, buddhi is the roof and crown of creation. No animal utilizes its buddhi for survival. A lot of them do, but it is instincts. Instincts, the animal is instinctively geared to protect itself. The deer that in the example that we saw yesterday, very fickle mind and intellect, it is continuously turning around looking for some sound, looking for if the tiger, lion, any animal is lurking around to pounce upon it. It by nature, it is programmed to run away from it. But if it sees a herd of zebras, giraffe, such a huge animal, but that deer is not worried because it knows it's also a vegetarian. So these are all instinctively programmed. Each animal has a particular instinct for its survival. Instinctual living. Then the human, that is animalistic living. The human living is intellect based living. The intellect has to be highly developed, and that's why people go to college, they study, and then the intellect becomes really sharp and they can utilize their intellect for one's own growth in the company and survival, etc., etc. But for a spiritual person, it is not just buddhi, sharpness of the intellect, but subtlety of the intellect. And that subtlety of the intellect, it has vivek, it has vairagya, shamadamadi, shat sampatti, mumukshutvam. The intellect is highly developed, and that intellect is slowly we are cultivating the buddhi based, intellect based living to intuition based living. And that buddhi is very beautifully calibrated. That is what is referred to over here, that if it is not cultivated, if it is anaccha buddhehe, if the buddhi is not sukshma buddhi, sukshmaya sukshma darshibhihi. In Kathopanishad and various places, it is said, drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshma darshibhihi. There is buddhi, drishyate, the self is seeing. Agra buddhi, like a tip of a kusha grass. And sukshma, very subtle. So sharpness and subtlety. So if one has to walk through the jungle of sense objects, how careful that intellect has to be so that it doesn't fall in the traps of sense objects. Over here, pratipadam abhiyataha. Pratipadam, every step, abhiyataha, lurks around. Abhiyataha, lurks around mrutyuhu eshaha. Death is what lurks around every step of the way when the buddhi is not cultivated. This human birth is not seized upon the opportunity to grow. Then what will happen? So So then what? So over here it is said that Guru Uktya, Guru Hita Sujana Uktya. Guru, who is a well-wisher, Hita, and Sujana, the good people in our life, and Gacchataha Swasya Yuktyaha, and on this path of spirituality, path of unfoldment, Swasya Yuktaha, the Buddhi also has reasoning faculty, and utilizing one's own reasoning faculty and listening to the well-wishes, well-wish filled advice of a guru, when prabhavati, when such a person goes on, phala siddhihi satyam iti eva viddhi, consider that such a person will reach the goal. Even if that buddhi is not calibrated properly, even if this buddhi is not cultivated properly, by the blessings of the guru, by the very guidance of a guru, the words of the teacher, and utilizing one's own intellect, swasya yukta, one's own logic, the person will satyam iti eva, the person will for sure reach phala siddhihi, the goal, the achievement of the fruit of all sadhanas, which is none other than abidance in self. Mokshasya kanksha yadi vaitavasti tyajati durat vishayan visham yatha piyushavatto padayakshamarjavaha prashanti dantir bhajanityamadharat. Yadi, in case, mokshasya akanksha tava asti, in case tava, for you, there is a desire for liberation. Mokshasya kanksha, akanksha, desire is there. Tyajati durat vishayan visham yatha. Tyajati, may one come to renounce. Tyajati duratapi, from distance itself. Vishayan, the sense objects. Visham yatha, as though they are riddled with poison. Very important that we cultivate this inner sense of understanding as to what is right for me and what is not right for me. And if it is not right for me, may I renounce it. Number one, simplifying life, getting rid of the objects which are unnecessarily taking our attention. Then we have to understand people are also objects. We have to also stay away from people who brainwash us, people whose words affect us. We do so much svadhyaya and we go and hang out with the wrong crowd, and again the buddhi's attentiveness will be wiped out. So we also have to understand that we have to take ourselves out of situations which create tendencies for the mind to fall down. So situations we have to come out of, people's satsangatve nisangatvam, So even the Nisanga, we have to come out of that, and also object simplifying life, also making sure that I am in contact with people who add value to my life. But if somebody brings me down, why am I holding on to that? So that also needs to be very clearly ascertained by a person, that it is not just simplification, but where I hang out, what I do, all of these things, when it is that. So over here, tyajati durat vishayan visham yatha. So stay away from even people. People can also be poisonous, and they pour various things. Mantara, what do we call that in Ramayana? You know, Lord Rama, the Lord of the universe, is in the home, but we listen to somebody who sprinkles some idea on our devotion, our bhakti, and takes us away from Bhagavan. That is also inappropriate. So that is what is talked about over here. And then Piyushavat, like nectar. Tosha, tosh meaning santosha, contentment. Tosha, daya, have compassion, contentment, compassion, kshama, forgiveness, arjavam, straightforwardness, prashanti, the calmness of the mind, danti, the very self-control, the control of the senses. So like nectar, bhaja, cultivate these things. When? Daily, nityam, adarat, with religiously, with great effort, with great respect, religiously, may adarat, religiously, nityam, daily, piyushavat, like nectar, bhaja, may one cultivate what? Tosha, daya, kshama, arjavam, prashanti, and danti. All of these good qualities we have to cultivate. This day and age, you know, even like 5 minutes of news we watch and we get rattled up by hearing what is going on in various corners of the world, or for that matter various corners of the city we are living in. What to do? We live in the information age where news travels faster than the speed of light, and this news is capable of disturbing us. So instead, for example, Ekadashi is just going to start today afternoon up to tomorrow afternoon. May I not watch TV, may I not listen to anything, may I chant Bhagavad Gita on Ekadashi day. Durgashtami day, may I bow down to Durga. Oh Divine Mother, give me the strength to fight off all these negativities around and help me cultivate all these things, etc., etc. You know, whichever day we are, Nityashaha, it is said that Nityam, daily. So daily we find ways to take our mind into the higher gaze. Bhakti is not easily cultivated. People always, you know, oh Swamiji, talk about bhakti. And I always tell people, do you know which chapter Bhagavan puts Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita is chapter 12. in the 18 chapters, first 6 chapters, second set of 6 chapters. Upasanasya phalam bhakti. The first 6 chapter, do karma properly. Then middle 6 chapters, do Vishesha karma properly. What is Vishesha karma? Ishwar Aradhana. And if that is done properly, you will develop bhakti. Everybody wants to have devotion. Oh, it is easiest to cultivate, people think. It is not that easy to cultivate devotion for Bhagavan. Very difficult to cultivate devotion for Bhagavan. That mind's attention has to be diverted away from the world's the objects of the world, and it has to be taken inward towards Ishwar. Not that easy. That is why Bhagavan puts Bhakti Yoga as the 12th chapter. And then that's where he says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, because the person has put so much effort, 11 chapters worth of effort he has put. Then Bhagavan says, he has taken so many steps towards me, I will take some steps towards him. And then Bhagavan says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee will not disappear. Why? Because my devotee has given me the most precious possession that he or she has. And the most precious possession is the attention of the mind. The attention of the mind is given to me. It is not given to another person. It is not given to the senses. It is not given to the body. It is not given to the sense objects. To me. This is how Bhagavan is worshipped when it is said, Piyushavat, with great nectar. Santosha, be content. Cultivate contentment with whatever objects Bhagavan gives, but never be content with mind's desire to see Bhagavan. If Bhagavan gives darshan once, have more desire. I need to have more and more darshan, continuous darshan. So contentment should be, जो भगवान ने दिया है वो बिल्कुल सही है बाहर, लेकिन अंदर मुझे डुबकी परमात्मा की ओर जाने की, और मैं ये भक्ति के अंदर, भक्ति रूपी lake, I am dipping into it. In this way, this santosha, then daya, having great compassion for the world around us so that we don't disturb anybody. Arjavam, straightforwardness, not having any calculative. That's why, in 13th chapter, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjam, acharyopasanam chas, etc. all qualities are given in them. So Gurudev over here very beautifully summarizes, to remain physically inert but mentally sensuous develops a distorted personality drained of all brilliance and beauty through suppressed desires and unseen mental dissipations. That mind has to completely turn away, and only such a mind can turn its gaze completely until then, that mind will be running around in this world of objects. So every morning, auto-suggestion to this mind, oh my mind, come along this journey of sadhana. And every evening, let there be introspection. Auto-suggestion, introspection. Auto-suggestion, introspection. How much did I waste my mind's energy today? Did I waste? So, in this way, one has to grow. One has to grow. Now, fascination for this body criticized shlokas 83 to 86. Anukshanam yat parihritya krutyam anadya vidya krutabandha mokshanam dehaf parartho yama ayama dehaf prayartho yamamushya poshane yassajjate sa swamanena hanti. Anukshanam yat parihritya krutyam. So over here, anadya vidya, ayam amushya. Ayam amushya. Ayam, this deha is what is referred to. This amushya, this deha. And what is this deha? Ayam amushya deha pararthaha. Pararthaha, it is for something else. I'm trying to do the prose order so that we can understand this shloka. So the third line, this body, deha ayam amushya deha pararthaha. This body is for something greater, something other. And what is that which is something other? So it is said that anadya vidya krutabandha mokshanam. This body has been created by beginningless avidya, but it is also created for mokshanam, for the liberation from this infinitely created, this ignorance which is anadi, beginningless ignorance, which has been krutabandha, it has created bondage, and for the sake of liberation from this beginningless ignorance, the body has been created for this. And yat krutyam parihritya, and that which is this ignorance, yat parihritya, that leaving aside the attachment to the body, anukshanam, always, what should the person do? That person poshane sajjate sa swam anena hanti. What happens is every waking moment we have to turn the mind's attention away from the sense objects. This body has been created for some higher purpose. And every moment, if this body's attention goes towards the objects, the mind and the intellect utilizing the body goes towards the objects, and the mind intellect's attention goes towards the body, what happens? The person continuously paying attention to the body, sajjate, clings on to it, saha, such a person, swam anena hanti, by one's own self destroys one's own self. And this is what happens. Leaving the higher goal aside, the fascination for the body and the fascination then extended to the sense objects. The sense objects were just discussed. Now the body itself, being attached to this body, the person sajjate, clinging on to, saha, anena swam hanti, he destroys himself. What does he do to the body? Poshane, amushya poshane, for taking care of this body. Poshana, to continuously nourish the body, taking care of the body, going outwardly, people, applying makeup and nails and hair, and time evaporates just by taking care of the body. This body, Shankaracharya ji in this shloka says, the body is for a higher purpose. But if the attention is given to the body, the attention given to the body, such a person destroys themselves by themselves. The time gets evaporated over there, and then the more one pays attention to the body, the more one maintains the body. And the purpose for which the body was given is completely overlooked, and such a person falls into the traps, is what is mentioned over here. The body is essentially an instrument for realizing Paramatma, Bhagavan. And he who continuously uses it for liberating him from the bondage born of beginningless ignorance, but struggles to nourish, it is he or she is destroying themselves. The body is for the sake of liberation. It is not for the sake of just maintenance. That is what is talked about over here. Sharira poshanarthi san yah atmanam didrukshati graham darudhiya drutya nadim tartum sagachati. So yaha, he whoever, sharira poshanarthi san, in case if being desirous of just maintaining the body nourishing the body, fattening the body, being more attentive for the body. And such a person is also at the same time the Atmanam didrukshati, and also has a desire for realizing the self. So whoever seeks to whoever desires to rise in the spiritual realm and desires to realize the Atma, such a person graham daru diya drutva nadim tartum sagachati. And such a person also sharira poshanarthi son, and also being a person who is taking care of the body, having a desire to realize the self, and also attention is given to the body. An example is given over here. Such a person, Shankaracharya ji says, graham darudiya. He considers a shark like a floating log. Drutva, having grabbed it, nadim tartum sagachati. Imagine one wants to cross the river, and there is a log which is floating. We can take a help of a piece of wood which is floating in the river. Holding on to it, I will be able to cross the river, which has great waves. But imagine a shark is seen in the river, and I think of that shark as a piece of wood and grab onto that shark, and I start to swim. What will happen? In no time the shark is going to turn around and destroy that person. So in case if one is desirous of realizing the self, but one gives undue attention to the body, it is like holding on to the shark while crossing the river. Meaning, holding on to the body and realizing the self, it is not going to be possible. That mind's attention, if it is extroverted, one will not reach the goal. That is what is said over here in this shloka, that for person who is desirous of realizing the self, one has to give up one's attention to the body. One has to give up one's attention to the sense objects. When that happens, a person will go towards Paramatma. We will continue. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.